Basketball fans, and welcome to the Hardwood. High school boys hoops on tap here from the campus of Mount Pleasant High School as the hometown Oilers host the Warriors of Bay City Western. We saw these two battle in the mud and frigid cold 2 months ago for the Saginaw Valley North Football Championship, and now they'll go toe-to-toe again, this time with a basketball in hand instead of a pigskin. Mount Pleasant looks to carry on their impressive winning streak against Western tonight, as they've not fallen to the Warriors since way back in 2012. However, both of these basketball clubs seek to rebound from losses in their previous outings. Calvin Keys in cahoots with Quinn Coterier. And Quinn, how have the Oilers and Warriors fared of late?
Well, Calvin, Mount Pleasant suffered their first loss in the last 4 games last Friday. Western has been on a bit of a cold streak. They suffered their 6th loss in their last 7 games. So tonight it's just going to be a battle to see who keeps that losing streak. Who doesn't keep that losing streak?
For Western, the message from Coach DeMario Walker going into this game was to up the intensity for Mount Pleasant. Coach Dan Schell informed his team this week in practice that they're only halfway to their destination this season. We still have a ways to go. Can the Oilers take the next step towards their destination tonight? We'll find out. Oilers in their home white attire, Warriors donning the black and gold this evening. Just about ready for tip here. On the NFHS network, we're underway. Strong tip back from Logan Borodachuk finds Ryan Gottliber.
And nearly sent that one out of bounds.
Wouldn't have been an ideal start. Davis possessing it now. The Saginaw Valley League North MVP as a linebacker and running back. Taking his talents to the hardwood tonight, has it in the corner. Looking to drive into the lane. Kick to the far side to Gottliber. That one's short.
And see, that one's short, but I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing a lot of that tonight. The simple drive in and then dishing out to either Ryan or Drew Parade on the perimeter.
Frost out to the corner. That shot rattled out from Joseph DeCuff, the sophomore guard. Tried one. Now Borodachuk speeding ahead, moving around one. Shot was too strong, but he draws the contact and the foul.
Now you can tell he had his eyes on the basket on that one. Just drove right in, and honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if he went for a dunk.
Borodachuk, as the youngest kid on this roster, the most height that they have on their team. Coach Schell loves how he always brings the energy, loves to see him yelling and getting fired up on the court, but he's still learning the physicality of the game. He's improved as the year has gone on. It'll be Gottliber to inbound as there's a little bit of confusion. Referee going to the scorer's booth. Still scoreless here. 42 seconds in. Glad you've joined us here at Mount Pleasant High School. And you may be able to tell from the wide angle, maybe we can get a close-up shot, but there is a cardboard cutout on the Western bench. That's of their longtime coach, Bob. His mantra was always to block out, whether it was in practice or a game. He's retired and residing at his vacation home in Arizona now, but the team didn't just want to have him here in spirit. They wanted to have a cardboard cutout of him here as well.
And I think that's a nice way to have him still be a part of the team, a nice way to remember one of your former coaches. And
carrying on his legacy as the senior forward Thomas Nahr gets the Oilers on the board. Here's DeCuff turning around. Cameron Schultz for Kason Frost. Draws the foul. He'll float one. Warriors inbound. You'll be hearing a lot of Kason Frost's name tonight. He is their go-to guy on offense. Had 10 points last game, led the team against Midland. Narrowly fell by 5 points to them as Schultz tries one that's off the back iron. Davis the rebound. He'll push it back up the floor. Borodachuk with a lane. Run into. Nahr there to find it. Racks up his second bucket of the night.
And there's a second chance point. And that was one of the things that Coach Schell was talking about is we need to improve Mount Pleasant's rebounding. They need to work on that and get more aggressive in the paint, going after those loose balls, and that's exactly what we just saw.
Reach in on Drew Pareda. In on Schultz there. You know, it's interesting. Both of these teams have had some similar struggles early on in the year. Oilers have had trouble rebounding. That's been a big emphasis for them in practice in this previous week. It's been the same for the Warriors. Their coach, DeMario Walker, has really called them out in recent weeks and said, it's time to up the intensity. That means intensity in practice. Practices have been a lot more grueling from the players' perspective, but also just being dialed in come game time.
I think one factor that might have is just how small both of these teams are. You know, neither one of these teams have, I guess, neither one of them are big. You don't have anybody that can get in there and reach over everyone else, and it just makes it a struggle. You have to fight harder, and you have to become more scrappy on that side of the ball.
Gottlieb got in behind the Warrior defense, made that layup. Now Frost will try one off the mark. Borodachuk finding it on the floor. Fast-paced game. The tempo has been up to start. Knocking that one away was your Guides out of the hands of Gottlieb. Oilers will keep it. 6-0 here early on, 5:50 to go in the first quarter. You're watching Michigan High School boys basketball on the NFHS Network. Calvin Keys, Quentin Couturier here with you tonight. Played in for Owen Watuzik, a guy that usually comes off the bench as the sixth man. Got a lot of minutes in the last loss to Grand Blanc. The big man trying a three. That one off the back rim. Now underneath the hoop. And just like that, the Oilers have the first 8 points of the ballgame.
And there it is again with the second chance points. And I think that if you can get those rebounds and you can put the ball back up again, you don't have to be afraid to take those shots. And I think that really helps build a lot of confidence, knowing that you can get the ball back.
Tough defense so far from Mount Pleasant, limiting the looks of the Warriors. Turning the corner is Schultz. Tried a sneaky little pass, didn't quite work for him, but they keep possession. Driving in now. Dishing down low. Warriors get their first points of the night, courtesy of Owen Batchgalupo.
And it's 8-2 here for a reason. Those are their first points of the game just because of the defense that Mount Pleasant's been playing. If you look, they're being really aggressive. They're building up these walls and making it possible for Bay City Western to drive in and get a nice open shot.
Borodachuk working it, just dribbles out. Frost looking to show off his speed and handles, guarded by Watuzik here. Davis picking that one off, just out of his reach of handling it, just out of my reach of handling it as well. Came right by the broadcast booth. Got to say, being on the sidelines at the basketball court, always have to stay on your toes. You never know what's going to be coming towards you.
When the ball's in transition like that, it's just moving so fast. These players are moving so fast, it can be so easy to lose control, and especially when you have to try and work past someone and you have somebody trying to block you out.
Well, Western, as we said, they're on a 3-game losing skid. Suffered losses to Lapeer, Davison, and then last game on the road against Midland High. That was a heartbreaking loss for them because they led at the half, and then in the second, as many mid-Michigan basketball fans know, the Chemics guard Drew Barry kind of took over, got hot, went on a run, and then although the game stayed close, the Warriors really chased things in the second half.
And I think that we see that a lot with Bay City Western's last couple of games is they're losing, but they're not losing by a lot. They're playing competitive, and they're showing that intensity that they have.
Watuzik with a nice basket. He opens his account tonight. 10-2, Mount Pleasant. Back up with it behind the back, Schultz. For Frost. Corner now. Puts up the shot. Missed it. Schultz to Frost. He'll try again from range. Not anywhere near, but a really good rebound by Batchgalupo. Scrappy play, and he's got both of the Warriors' baskets so far tonight. Here's Drew Barbie. Transfer from Lexington, Kentucky. Kicks out to the corner to Watuzik. Air balls. Oh my, an awkward fall from Wyatt Irvin. Leg kind of bent backwards there as he fell.
He kind of landed on the back of his foot.
Never like to see that, where Irvin was kind of in midair going up for the board and then kind of got undercut by the Western player trying to move in. Didn't look malicious, but certainly an awkward fall and really good sportsmanship by this Western team to help him back up to his feet.
You know, accidents like that happen, but it's good to see him back on his feet, staying in the game, and they're smiling.
Watuzik guarded tightly by Schultz here, gets down to Barbie in the paint. Drew Barbie, tough contested shot, found by Schultz. You know, Wyatt Irvin is a guy that's just coming back from a quad injury, so that's the last thing you wanted to see here early on tonight. Good to see he's okay.
Heart skipped a beat when I saw that happen.
Schultz trying to shake one. Leaves it for DeCuff. Kason Frost. Shifty guard. Schultz has some deceptive quickness as well. DeCuff driving it. Tough shot, but he made it look easy. Warriors cut their deficit to 4. Can the Oilers find an answer here? Barbie moving it. Finding Watuzik from the corner. Moves to the wing. Barbie, pump fake, moving in. Can't get the finishing touch at the basket.
And that's a tough shot to miss. You work so hard that whole possession to get the ball to Barbie and get him driving into the hoop, and that was a good look for him. And
that went off the hands of DeCuff. Very strong pass there from his teammate. That was your Guides trying to feed him. Aiden Klein, the junior forward, is going to come into the game for the first time tonight, replacing Gottlieb. Ryan Gottlieb transferred to Mount Pleasant from nearby Beale City High School. Said the main reason that he wanted to do that was to play against a higher level of competition, really grow his basketball game. And you can really see the improvement he's made, grown by leaps and bounds in these past couple of years as an Oiler. Violation against Mount Pleasant. Did you see the call on that one, Quentin? It's going to be a turnover.
Not quite sure what happened.
Wasn't quite able to spot it. Might have been a travel. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Mount Pleasant up 10-6 here at home at their own gym. Gage Coonan comes into the game, and he'll inbound it. DeCuff stopping up. He's guarded by Watuzik here, trying to shake free. Fed to Wilcox, who also just came into the contest. Kason Frost, a guy you won't likely see leave the court tonight, logs a ton of minutes. Shows the trust that his coach, DeMario Walker, really has in him.
And in the last game that they had, in their loss to Midland, he put up 10 points. And
Western moving back and forth around the perimeter, sets up the shot from Frost. Nar, tough rebound. Watuzik stopping up. Barbie passed up the shot. Coming in now is Klein. That's swatted away by Frost. High tempo in this basketball game. Most of the Mount Pleasant points have come off the fast break, I've noticed. Nar having a strong start to this one, picks off that pass, feeds Klein ahead, looking to move around, floats one, tough one to make. Frost being pestered by Barbie, draws the reach in.
And just like you said, a lot of these points are coming off these fast break opportunities, and that's just from the rebounding, the quick change, and whoever can make that change fastest, get back on defense, switch over to offense, is going to be able to capitalize on the opportunity.
Although the Oilers ended up falling by 9 points last Friday at the hands of the Grand Blanc Bobcats, one of the top teams in the Saginaw Valley. It was a big game for the Oilers for many reasons. It really tested them and helped them grow in their ability to adapt to the full court press and some other things that Grand Blanc was doing to trouble them. It also was kind of a coming out party for Drew Barbie. Led the team with 16 points. Number 44 in white. First season with Mount Pleasant after moving here from Lexington, Kentucky. Father now the head coach at Central Michigan after serving as an assistant under legendary Kentucky men's basketball coach John Calipari. Has to have a pretty high basketball IQ with that upbringing.
I was about to say, he probably gets a lot of one-on-one personal training with that, and I mean, that has to help his game a lot, just like we saw with that 16-point game. I wonder if he can get a repeat of that tonight.
Watuzik has to get it off. Time expiring in the first quarter. Missed it. Klein put up another shot, but it's not going to count, and 10-6 is how things will stand here after 8 minutes of play. Back at the campus of Mount Pleasant High School, Oilers hosting the Bay City Western Warriors, traveling from Auburn, Michigan tonight to go to war on the hardwood. For the Warriors, wins have been few and far between, only won one of their last 7. But when they did get that win over Midland Dow a couple of weeks ago, their coach Walker likes to reward their players after weathering through the challenging practices and obviously working really hard in their games. He calls them Sunday fun days, Sunday afternoon practices where they get to play dodgeball and cornhole amongst some other fun little games.
And you have to imagine that's very motivational. to be able to know that if you're coming off a win, you're already feeling happy, you're already feeling excited,
Yeah.
and then just go and hang out and, play some cornhole. Who doesn't like that?
Do you think putting the bags in the hole and cornhole translates to putting the basketball in the hole here tonight?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
I'd be curious to know who the best player on this Western team is at cornhole. I imagine Frost would be pretty good if his underhand touch is as good as his overhand touch.
Now, this game started out 8-0, and now it's 10-6. Bay City Western's been on a 6-2 run, and, I mean, starting off 8-0, you really have to have that fight and that intensity to be able to come back and put yourself back into a game. Close up that deficit. And
unforced error from Borodachuk coughs it up to Wilcox. Western offense will go back to work. They've shown a lot of patience. Down low feed to Wilcox. He's swarmed. Manages to find a chink in the armor and lay it in for the basket.
And he puts it right back into a one-possession game. It looks like Mount Pleasant's struggling to put the ball through the hoop here, and they're going to have to make some adjustments if they want to keep that lead.
Nearly picked off. Pareda scrambling to find it. Watuzik moving in. He's triple teamed, trying to find a way to get it out, and Deontay Brown came into the game, making an impact already. Extends to 4 for Mount Pleasant. Here's Coonan, the sophomore. Wilcox again. Wide open again. Shell tells Nar to check into the game. They're going to try to make some changes here.
Looks like Mount Pleasant's going to need to step it up on defense. Bay City Western's been able to find these holes and find these spots. I mean, that possession took him, 5 seconds to get him into the lane and get him to the hoop with the ball.
Trying to move to the hoop with the ball that time was Davis. Drew the foul, nearly got the shot to go as well. I think Coach Shell of Mount Pleasant said it best himself this week. This is a game that's a winnable game for the Oilers, but if they don't come to play, Western loves to play the underdog, and they'll make you pay if you don't bring your best.
That's exactly right. And they have lost 6 of the last 7 games, but each one of those games have been competitive. That it doesn't show them as a team. It doesn't show their strength as a team. Bay City Western is a good team, and if you're not careful of that, if you let that slip, that can come back to bite you.
Davis went 0 for 2 from the line. Western blocks out just like Coach Bob would have wanted them to. They get the board. Kaysen Frost handing off to the big Payne Kench. Dished it down low. Western, they've been making a living underneath the hoop. Couldn't convert that time. Lofted ahead for Davis. Back out for Pareda. Ran into Coonan. Davis bounce pass down low. Nar trying to find a way out after he was trapped on the baseline, and possession will go to Western here. 2-point game.
Now that's a big stop right there, because now that puts you in a position to be able to tie it up or take the lead. And that's a really important thing that has to boost your morale, especially starting out 0-8.
Uncharacteristic start for the Oilers. They've been somewhat sloppy on defense, which is somewhat of their identity as a program, so not typical to see them be a little bit lackadaisical in their backcourt. But that's what we've seen so far, surprisingly.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant usually prides herself on their defense, and like you said, Coach Shell says that's the identity of the team. They have to be willing to play good defense and be willing to put that effort in, and we're not seeing that tonight. I have to imagine that they're going to go into the locker room at halftime and talk about that.
Still a lot of time left before the break. Obviously, the plot could change a little bit. But as of right now, Western very comfortable with where they are in this game. When they came out for warm-ups, they were walking around with a lot of swagger. That's not something you typically see out of a team that's been beaten up as much as this Warriors group. You get the feeling they still have some confidence, and they have belief in themselves that they are a good basketball team, and their results don't really indicate their merit.
And I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. I mean, obviously, they haven't won a game yet in the Valley, so maybe that's a reason, I guess. But they've been losing a lot, but these games have all been competitive. Their loss to Midland was within 10. Okay, and that's a strong team, and it's a strong showing from the Bay City Western team.
Absolutely. Your Guides stepped out of bounds, so the Oilers get it back. Borodachuk, big block there from Landon Yates. It'll get called a foul. Looked like Borodachuk was all alone down low initially. I think one thing that's helpful about Western is they have a lot more players with height than Mount Pleasant does. So they have depth. They can rotate those big men. Obviously, you know as a basketball fan, Quinn, it's a very tiring position. So it's nice to be able to roll them. Whereas for Mount Pleasant, they're a little bit smaller, and Borodachuk's one of the only bigger guys they have at their disposal.
Exactly, and it makes it so hard to get those rebounds. Like Coach Shell says that the Mount Pleasant team needs to work on. It makes it so hard to get those rebounds and to keep the ball, get yourself those second chance opportunities. But when you have those big guys, it's much easier to play defense and get a block on somebody like Logan, like we just saw.
Irvin picked up a foul there. Interesting decision. And now the Warriors will call timeout. They're down by 2 in this one. Mount Pleasant leads 12-10 at their home court.
Well, I got my start in officiating when a friend told me I should try it. At first I just did basketball, and I got hooked. Before long, I added baseball, softball, football, and volleyball. I really enjoy giving back to the game, working with kids, and working with my local association to recruit and train new officials. I would like to say to anybody that officiating is a great way to help kids and stay connected to the game. We always need new officials. There's help wanted, just listen.
The MHSAA would like to remind you to get social. Keep up with everything MHSAA on social media. Look us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for tournament updates, event announcements, video highlights, and high school sports news from around the state. It's the best way to connect with the MHSAA every day. Back here at Mount Pleasant High School, Cameron Schultz currently on the dribble. His team only down by 2. Suffered an 8-0 run to start from Mount Pleasant. And your Guides is going to travel here. But it's been remarkable. Warriors coming back to make this one tight. Looked like it could get ugly after the Oilers came out and hung 8 points on the Warriors early. Scrambling for it on the floor. Schultz the foul on Pareda as he was able to hit the deck first and get to the rock. Coonan's going to come in now. He'll replace Cam Schultz.
And the Oilers coming off their last game, their loss at Grand Blanc, what we see is at the start of the first quarter and at the start right after halftime, the Mount Pleasant was struggling to get a start with the ball. They went down 8-0 in the first 2 minutes, giving up some early turnovers, and went down 6-0 in the start of the third quarter. And that was the opposite of what we saw, but it's starting to come back, you know. Bay City Western has forced the comeback, and instead of being down by 8, they're now down 2.
Gatliber, 0 for 3, I believe, from range here tonight. Uncharacteristic from him. Usually he shoots the 3 ball so well. Coach Shell voicing his grievances with the referee right now as Borodachuk got called for the foul down low. Interesting decision there. Coach Shell's the type of guy, he's so competitive, he's never really content with the refs. He always has something to talk to them about.
He's always talking with them about something, always trying to contest or change their mind on some call they might have had.
Nar able to find that one underneath the hoop. He's already had several boards tonight. Nice little fake move and lays it in.
And see, when you have a team like Bay City Western with this strong interior defense, you have to get crafty like that. You have to start thinking creative and start finding different ways that you might be able to trick them and get open.
Little misdirection. Oh, I'm going this way. No, I'm going this way.
Exactly.
Foul on the Oilers. Don't know what that one was, but Western's now in the bonus, so they're going to shoot a one-on-one here. This will be Gage Goonan at the foul stripe. 4:14 to go in this second quarter. Sophomore makes his first. Two for 2 from the stripe is Gage Coonan. We talked a little bit about Oilers' last game against Grand Blanc. Ended up falling 66-57. That's a very talented Grand Blanc team. They feature R.J. Taylor and Amonte Allen Johnson, 2 guys that will probably be playing D1 hoops come a couple of years. Both juniors that already have D1 offers.
That is Grand Blanc. Grand Blanc is a very good team with very skillful players, and it's honestly impressive that they were able to keep it within 10 points.
Nara, another offensive board. Now Irvin, another rebound off the miss from Gottlieb. Able to get the field goal. And now a timeout called. We'll step aside for a moment. 3:42 left to go in the first quarter. Mount Pleasant up 16-12.
Today I'm going to tell you about sportsmanship because it's important. Treat your opponents the way you would want to be treated. My mom says that. Listen to the referees. It's their job. Be nice to their team and our team. Cheer them on. Always play fair. It's the right thing to do. It's sportsmanship. It's not that hard.
Back here as the Warriors break the huddle on their timeout break. 3:42 to go in the second quarter. Mount Pleasant's up 4. Not as close as we expected this game to be, especially after Mount Pleasant came out with the first 8 points of the game, if you're just joining us. Here's Frost, trapped.
Actually, Kelvin, it's a lot closer than I would have expected. 16-2.
Wilcox trying to get it free. Instead, coughed it up to Gottlieb. Weaving it, giving to Davis. Open look for Pareda from 3. Rattles out. That's just the kind of night it's been shooting-wise for Mount Pleasant so far in this first half.
But to be honest, Mount Pleasant hasn't tried many shots beyond the arc. I thought that we might see a lot more of that, especially going against this Bay City Western team with their interior defense and being able to rotate those big guys like we were talking about earlier.
Great hustle by Irvin to knock it away from your Guides after Frost missed his shot. Barbie's back in the game for the Oilers, as is Watuzik. And coming in for Western is Patrick Wilcox, who has 4 points tonight. Cannot leave the big man unguarded down low again. That's been an issue. Double team in the corner. Frost was trapped, managed to find a way out, got it to Batchgalupo. Moving around your Guides. Teardrop shot. Just missed. But Western's going to keep possession as Gottlieb fumbled for it.
No, it's nice to see some strong contest in the paint like that. Instead of giving them the open drive, you have Barbie right there to get up and get a hand up, get in his face a little bit, and throw off the shot.
Neither team can buy one from behind the arc right now, Quinn.
No, this is a tough night for shooting for both teams.
Barbie moving around. Makes the shot as he's falling down. Impressive athletic display there from Drew Barbie. 18-12, Mount Pleasant. Over for Wilcox. Now Frost, who traveled. See numerous travels as well.
There's been a lot of turnovers with the ball, whether it's just a travel like that, simply out of bounds. The ball's been changing hands a lot. I wonder if that's affecting these teams, trying to help them find their stride with such these short possessions, these fast break. No team has had possession of the ball for much longer than a couple seconds.
Davis, Barbie, pump fake, wrapped up. Foul called against Mount Pleasant, so Western's going to get it. Coach Shell's face turning more and more red as this game progresses. Not super happy with some of these foul calls, but it's just something you got to play through.
Every time I look up at him, he's on a different spot on the bench. He's pacing around so much, you can tell how stressed he is at this game.
Wilcox, pass too far ahead of Frost. Possession back to the Oilers. Minute 51 to go.
See, there it is with another turnover. The ball's just swapping hands, and nobody can hold on to it for more than 20 seconds.
This game is kind of like a teeter-totter right now.
Back and forth, back and forth.
We'll have another friendly little conversation between Shell and the official. Now we're back underway. Gottlieb taking his time. Minute 45 left in the second quarter. 6-point game. Mount Pleasant has been the better team, but neither side able to get their shots to fall right now. Big stuff from Wilcox. Finds it. Dishes across there for DeCuff. Now Coonan. Looking for an opening.
And that was Wilcox just using his length, using his arms, using his height to get in the way and stop the ball before it even had a chance to go up.
Low feed was headed for DeCuff off the bounce pass. But Watuzik showing why he maybe should have tried out for the soccer team in the fall with the kickball. I wonder if that's one of the games that Western plays on their fun days. Always love a good game of kickball. Another high bounce pass. Got away from Wilcox. Owen Watuzik driving in. Kick out for Barbie from behind the arc. Thought that might have been the one.
There it is with another missed shot from Mount Pleasant behind the arc.
That time it isn't missed by Payne Kench. Makes no mistake. Coming off an 8-point outing against the Chemics. He's been improving as the year has gone on. Coach DeMario Walker likes what he's seen out of him. Davis, the big scrappy forward. Travels there, turns the ball over. Davis, such an unselfish team player. It looks like almost every time that he gets the ball, he's looking to pass immediately.
Exactly, and it's important to have good court vision like that and find who's open, because if you can get those open looks, as long as everyone's hitting their shots, that can give you a big benefit, big boost to your team and create a big lead.
Out for the big fella, that's Kench. Coonan, back for Kench. Bounced off his foot. Great effort there by DeCuff to try to keep the ball in play, but just skittered out. Davis is also a menace on the glass.
Now, that's one of the things about this Mount Pleasant team is Coach Shaw said that he doesn't have anybody in particular that he's looking to pass to or that he's looking to try and get the ball in these important clutch moments. Everyone on his team is a viable option. He sees everyone as an equal threat.
That's really what makes him dangerous. It's hard to guard 5 guys at once. It's easy to shut down one guy, but strength in numbers makes it difficult for the defense. 15 to shoot. Almost at halftime. Can the Oilers end off this first half on a positive note? Davis turning the corner. Great feed to Borodachuk.
And there's Davis with a beautiful pass like we were just talking about.
Talking about that unselfishness.
He dished in and he could. Oh.
A steal. Godleber trying to beat the buzzer. Got called for the charge as he bowled over Coonan to lay it in. Or no, they're going to call it a blocking foul. So he made the basket and he's going to the line.
There we go. That easy 4 points right before halftime. That gives him another 8-point lead.
I think the Oiler bench was a little bit confused what the call was too. And the referees were confused among themselves because one of them signaled for a charge, the other one signaled for a blocking foul.
I mean, it looks like everyone is. They're talking it over here with Coach Walker, and everyone in the stands are just kind of waiting to see what the call is.
I think it's half the crowd here in attendance thinks it was a block and half thinks it was a charge. It just depends on which team you're cheering for here tonight. This time the call will go Mount Pleasant's way. Godleber looking to make it a 3-point play. And that he does. Talking about it. A good way to put a bookend in that first half. Great 3-point effort from Godleber off the steal. Mount Pleasant extend to 9, up 23-14 as things stand. We'll head to the halftime break and be back in a couple of minutes for second half action here on the NFHS Network.
As the voice of Michigan student athletes, the Student Advisory Council's role
is to convey the message of how high school sports are supposed to be played.
We are responsible for helping the MHSAA maintain a positive and healthy atmosphere
so that interscholastic athletes may thrive.
We believe athletes should be competitive,
sportsmanlike, and excel academically.
We believe students in the stands should have fun,
but not take the focus away from the game.
We believe coaches should act as teachers,
helping student athletes develop while still keeping high school sports in perspective.
We believe that parents should always be positive role models
and be supportive of their child's decision.
We believe officials commit their own time to high school sports,
and respect should always be shown and given to them.
The most important goal for student athletes is to enjoy high school sports
while keeping a high level of respect between all those involved in the games.
Enjoy the game.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom.
On the diamond.
In the pool. On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
the innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 300,000 participants here in Michigan who take part in high school sports.
This is Adam, take 2. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
So, I got my start in officiating when a friend told me I should try it. At first I just did basketball, and I got hooked. Before long, I added baseball, softball, football, and volleyball. I really enjoy giving back to the game, working with kids, and working with my local association to recruit and train new officials. I would like to say to anybody that officiating is a great way to help kids and stay connected to the game. We always need new officials. There's help wanted, just listen.
Today I'm going to tell you about sportsmanship because it's important. Treat your opponents the way you would want to be treated. My mom says that. Listen to the referees. It's their job. Be nice to their team and our team. Cheer them on. Always play fair. It's the right thing to do. It's sportsmanship. It's not that hard.
My dad and my grandfather are officials. I've grown up around officials and seeing how much they enjoy being part of the games. As a student athlete, I've always appreciated the people out there who are willing to give back to the kids. The Legacy program lets me officiate while I'm still in high school, working younger kids' games. Officiating gives me a better understanding of the game. I get to make some pretty good money for a high school kid, and I even get to spend some quality time with my dad. There's help wanted. Just whistle.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
You're up. There's an old saying, you can never have too many officials. The age of the average official is 52 and getting older all the time. We're constantly recruiting new people, younger people to join us. After you register with the MHSAA, look on the website to find an officials association near you. They'll put you in a position to succeed as an official. We all learned a lot from high school sports, and officiating is a great way to give back to the game. There's help wanted. Just whistle.
Touchdown, Columbia.
Because every athlete
deserves to be treated like a pro. Henry Ford Sports Medicine.
As the voice of Michigan student athletes, the Student Advisory Council's role
is to convey the message of how high school sports are supposed to be played.
We are responsible for helping the MHSAA maintain a positive and healthy atmosphere
so that interscholastic athletes may thrive.
We believe athletes should be competitive,
sportsmanlike, and excel academically.
We believe students in the stands should have fun,
but not take the focus away from the game.
We believe coaches should act as teachers,
helping student athletes develop while still keeping high school sports in perspective.
We believe that parents should always be positive role models
and be supportive of their child's decisions.
We believe officials commit their own time to high school sports,
and respect should always be shown and given to them.
The most important goal for student athletes is to enjoy high school sports
while keeping a high level of respect between all those involved in the games.
Enjoy the game.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom.
On the diamond.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 300,000 participants here in Michigan who take part in high school sports.
Back for the second half here on the NFHS Network. Mount Pleasant Oilers leading over the Bay City Western Warriors 23-14. Speaking of the second half, I think you have a little ad read for us, Quentin.
The second half page of the MHSAA website gets you close to the action with features on high school sports from around the state, weekly coaches associations rankings, and coverage of your MHSAA tournament finals. It's a great read with fresh content nearly every weekday during the school year. Make the MHSAA's second half your first stop for high school sports information.
I think these two teams were probably a little bit anxious when they were heading to the dressing room in terms of what their coach was about to say to them, because really was lackluster from both sides in that first half.
I'm sure both teams got a good yelling at from their coaches, or at least they should have. That was an ugly game of basketball we saw in that first half. I'm really hoping things turn around here.
Hopefully they got a wake-up call. I mean, basically all the things you try to avoid in a basketball game is what we saw from both teams. There was an abundance of turnovers, so many missed looks from outside and inside the arc. Really bad defensive rebounding, conceding easy points. That was pretty much one of the only areas that we saw the teams able to get on the board. Was just guys not blocking out, even like the mannequin of Coach Bob over there says.
Just those second chance points.
Second chance points was one of the only ways the teams were able to score, rather.
That's all it was really ugly defense, but it didn't really matter too much because the offense was ugly too. They're struggling to move the ball around and struggling to put up those shots.
One thing that stood out to me, as Brodachuk will catch that one flying through the air, draws the foul. One thing that stood out, we just saw there the Oilers moving the ball into the post. Usually their success stems from fluidly moving the ball inside and outside out of that post position to Thomas Nahr and Logan Brodachuk. Wasn't very clean in that first half. It would either be neglecting to feed him down low, or when they would put it down low, the bigs would kind of turn the ball over instead of kicking it back out to their open shooters.
That's really what it was. They were hitting them too late. They were finding them too late. They just needed. If you have the ball, you need to keep your eyes up. You need to focus on everybody else around you and see how you can get them the ball. If there's an open man, you can't miss that opportunity.
On the other side of things, Warriors were getting the ball into the post with pretty good success. Patrick Wilcox came off the bench, had 4 points because he was wide open on several occasions down low. Starting things off, it's your Geides. Moving back to Cuff. The Cuff still with it. Coughed it up yet again. Brodachuk to the right side to Pareda. Pulls up from the wing. Trifecta.
This is already a much better start to the game than we're seeing. That defensive steal that we just saw, beautiful. Bay City Western, he was trying to hit him inside, trying to get him into the post like we were talking about, like we were seeing the whole first half. But Mount Pleasant was there, ready to stop it, get the ball.
Frost. Tough layup. Got it to go for him. 27-16 in favor of the Oilers. Taking it back up the floor is Pareda. I hope those two possessions were the start of something, because it's certainly more fun to be a part of and watch these games when the players are seeing the ball go through the hoop for them.
Exactly. Every player on the court right now feels more excited. They feel more angsty and more excited to play. Really, that's all it is, and that just creates a more exciting environment around here.
Nar turning around, using that left hand. He's got 6 on the game. Here's Schultz for Kason Frost. Frost driving in. Ice-cold layup from Kason Frost. Timeout called by Mount Pleasant. That'll be a minute-long timeout. And as they take a timeout, we'll give you a reminder that you can be the referee. If you want to learn more about the fine art of officiating, listen to Be the Referee every week on the MHSAA network. Learn about rules, mechanics, play You Make the Call, and get behind the scenes during these 60-minute messages, or 60-second messages, which can also be heard by visiting the homepage of the MHSAA website. Speaking of being the referee, I'll give you an opportunity to be the referee for a second, Quentin. At the end of that first half, Gottlieb drove in off the steal, was able to sink the layup, got called for a blocking foul against Western. What did you see on that play?
Personally, I think it was a blocking foul. But throughout the whole stadium, I mean, it could have gone either way. Like, nobody was quite sure what it was, and throughout this whole crowd, everybody was just kind of on the edge of their seat waiting to see which way it was going to be called.
Took a long conference from the officials after they themselves had a split decision.
And that's one of those things where it'd be nice to have one of those replay booths where the officials can go in and look and, watch every aspect, because other than that, you're just going based off of your memory, and, memory can be deceitful.
Yeah, I certainly wish we had an instant replay booth, because I still can't decide myself which way that one should have went. Oilers got the benefit. They also have the benefit of nearly being back at full strength as Gottlieb got it to go.
There it is. We're seeing a lot more efficient offense. We're seeing these shots finally sinking. They were trying them the whole first half, but that's what Coach Shell said, was that the confidence that this team has is what sets them apart. They might miss their first 5 shots, but the 6th one, they think that 6th one will go in, and they're not going to be afraid to take it.
Western was all wrapped up on Nar down low, able to feed it out. Believe he drew the foul there. After missing a contested layup was Gottlieb. Well, Pareda and Gottlieb are able to get their first 3s of the game in this second half. It's back for Drew Pareda now. Up and over, down for Davis. Foul against the Warriors.
Warrior foul, 15, Cameron Schultz, his 3rd personal, team's 3rd.
Coming in is Wilcox. Sorry, Quinn. Continue.
Throughout this whole game, we've just seen a lot of stop in the action. A lot of pausing of the game, inbounding the ball. Whether it's travel violations, going out of bounds.
Here's Pareda on the baseline, trying to find a way out. Borodachuk coming in, moving around one, upended. That was DeCuff falling to the floor.
Hit
Bay
City
the basket will count.
Hit Bay City with the taste of their own medicine.
Wilcox. Bounce to Bachkalupo. Deep 3-pointer. Bang.
And there's Bay City hitting Mount Pleasant with the taste of their own medicine. Hitting that 3-pointer.
Your Guides, he's that guy. Corey Davis spinning away from Wilcox. Out for Pareda. He'll move back in. Up and over and off the glass and out. Frost pushing it back up. Lost the handle momentarily. Finds it again. Pushes the pill over for Joseph DeCuff. And then handed right back to Frost. Trying to shake Pareda. Up top here. Bachkalupo. Your Guides made a 3 from nearly that same area. That time he'll pass up the shot. Moved around the perimeter. Warriors can't get penetration right now. Your Guides looking for an option. DeCuff walking the baseline, and he steps up.
Mount Pleasant was sticking close there that whole time on defense. They were really making it hard to move the ball around and just get anywhere with the ball to get the open pass, or they're really closing out. Bay City had to be really careful not to get a turnover right there.
The old adage goes that defense wins championships. That's certainly what Mount Pleasant's coach Shell believes. They spend a ton of time working out in practice, and after a sloppy first half, they're getting back to their identity. Moves out. Nar going up, got hit in the face a little bit.
See him wince a bit.
Draws the foul. Back. No pain, no gain.
Just hope getting poked in the eye doesn't mess with his free throw shooting.
3.5 into the third quarter. Mount Pleasant has come out with a strong start just like they did in the first half. 13-point lead at the moment as Nar will sink the first foul shot. Checking back in is Payne Kench. That guy's only a junior. He probably still has room to grow. That's a little bit scary and for other teams and exciting if you're Western coach DeMario Walker. That kind of size.
Exactly. We're only halfway through the season, so this year alone there's still more time to grow and see what
Godleber,
capable of.
Deep three-pointer. He's heating up.
You can see the energy that they have coming in the second half. It's almost watching a completely different game from it was the first.
Gage Coonan, Miles Urgaides, trapped. He was reached in upon in the referee's eyes. Western will inbound. The leading scorer for the Oilers in that first half was Thomas Nar, had 6 points. The senior was also a second-team All-Valley offensive lineman for the Mount Pleasant Oilers. We talked about it a little bit in the open. These two schools faced off in kind of the de facto SBL North Championship. It was the last game of the season, and whoever won was going to clinch a league championship.
Yeah, and a lot of these players, I'm sure they met on the football field, and here they are meeting again on the hardwood. You see a lot of multi-sport participation between a lot of these players in high school.
Poor inbounds pass. Able to roll over to Brodachuk. Davis forging away up ahead. But he traveled. You were just talking about multi-sport participation, Quentin. A lot of these guys dual-sport athletes. What can that add for a player's athletic career?
Well, here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. There's fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help kids become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life.
Davis for Godleber. Strong right hand in his face. Getting a piece of it was Urgaides. And coming back in, Barbie and Irvin. Replacing Nar and Davis. Big senior class on this Oiler team. Whereas for the Warriors, most of their guys that see game action are on the younger side of things. Drew Barbie.
That's exciting for Bay City having a younger team. They're being able to compete here, and it shows a lot of hope and potential for the future of their school.
Pareda floats one, no good. Barbie draws the foul again.
Now, even though that ended in a foul, it's those second chance opportunities. It's the fact that Mount Pleasant was able to get their own rebound and then go back up with the shot that's given them this lead that they have right now.
Yeah, Coach Walker said his team is on the rise, and I'd say that's certainly true. Mount Pleasant's Coach Shell certainly hopes that his team is on the rise as well. He says if he could give his team a letter grade for how they've done so far, it'd be about a B. But he knows that they really have to improve in order to beat some of these top dogs in the Saginaw Valley League, that being Grand Blanc, Carmen Ainsworth. Davison has a strong team this year as well. So have to continue improving. The goal for every high school basketball coach is to have their group peak on March 1st. That's when you're making those deep state championship runs.
That's one of the things that's the most important is even if you're not playing your best all the time, as long as you're always finding some way to improve, some way to make your game better.
Brodachuk finds the board off the free throw and one. been a different Oiler team so far in this second half. They've really come out with a chip on their shoulder. They've had something to prove after a little bit of offensive and defensive woes in that first 16 minutes.
Well, they started out strong, going 8-0, just like we said, but then the game
quickly shifted in favor of Western.
Bay City Western quickly caught back up, brought it within 3 points, and it was just kind of a one-possession game that whole time with nobody scoring too much.
Coonan beat Klein, the teardrop. Missed it. Irvin trying to find a way out.
Fighting for the ball. You can see both teams are just being more aggressive, trying to get that ball up, trying to get those rebounds and trying to maintain possession.
And with Mount Pleasant the bonus, Irvin will now go to the line. It's interesting to talk about. We were saying, as a high school basketball coach, you want your team to develop throughout the year. Last year was interesting in the respect that teams didn't have a lot of time to practice. The season wasn't given the go-ahead until sometime in mid-February, so didn't have a lot of time to get that basketball season in. As a result, the games all got compacted into the schedule. Not a lot of practice time.
Right.
And Shell said that it's really interesting. His players are getting a better feel for what it's like to be a varsity basketball player now that they have more time to practice and improve their game throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, you can spend all the time that you want practicing in the gym and stuff, but the best way to develop is in-game.
Frost moving around. It's going to be a foul on Barbie for a hold as Kason Frost moved around him with velocity. 2.5 left in this third quarter. 21-point lead for the guys in white. Handed off for Frost. Bounce pass back to Bachkalupo. High off the glass. Watuzik looking to move by DeCuff. Nice move, didn't have the finish. Out to Klein. Barbie. And back for Owen Watuzik. Brother Mason Watuzik enrolled at Adrian College, likely will begin his career there next season as Irvin tries one for deep. That one's short. Good rebound by Watuzik. Oilers doing a lot better job on the glass, and it pays dividends.
Exactly, and that's what it is. If you're not fighting for those rebounds, you're letting Mount Pleasant get that board over and over again. We saw 2 missed shots, but then that third one went in.
Stern expression on Western coach DeMario Walker's face. He's going to call a timeout and try to rally the troops here with 1:43 to go in the third quarter.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Tonight's game brought to you by the school broadcast program. More high school games than ever before can be seen live every week on the MHSAA TV website. The school broadcast program continues to grow with more and more schools using the NFHS Network's automated production solution Pixelot to show games. Well, we and some other schools also like to do these live broadcasts with multiple cameras. Brought to you by the GI Tech School Broadcast Program. Big shout out to our teacher, Mr. Onstadt. Calvin Keys, Quentin Couturier here with you on the call. Got Nick Malish, Landon Mars, Jack Irvin, and Brianna Onstadt all behind the scenes. So thanks to everyone that made this broadcast possible. And over 700 hours of championship action will be available this year. Check it out at mhsaa.tv. Frost for Payne Kench. Gage Coonan. Really good hands by Watuzik to pick that one off. He's got a guy with him. Lob for Borodachuk. You could see the look in his eye. He wanted the dunk, but it went off his hand into the basket. It'll still count for 2 points.
Yeah, he kind of had to make do on the fly right there. Adjust what he was planning, but he got lucky and it still went in.
Minute 10 before the final break of this game as trying one. Nearly a wedgie there. Ahead for Irvin.
What I've seen here is a lot of fast-paced basketball. Mount Pleasant's really forcing the ball through transition. It's making it really hard for Bay City to get back and try and cover and get the stop.
That opportunity over just as quickly as it began due to the travel. You get the feeling this game's slowly slipping out of the Warriors' reach after they did a really good job to hang with Mount Pleasant in the first half.
Yeah, that whole first half, besides that first minute or two of the game, Mount Pleasant had a big lead, and then Bay City, they had to fight really hard to get back and put themselves right in the game.
Stole it all alone. Really good strip by Coonan.
Bay City fought back to come back from that 8-point deficit and put themselves back in the game. And the rest of that whole first half, the game was neck and neck. It could have gone either way. But now Mount Pleasant's taking this 25-point lead, and Bay City's going to have to really dig in deep this fourth quarter to try and come back.
Irvin, another travel. Having some struggles here tonight. Schultz crossing over the timeline, trying to cross up Watusick. Blocking foul will go against Owen Watusick. Coming into the game for the first time tonight for Western is Zach Cookenmaster. See if he can whip anything up here for the Western offense.
You know, that might be what they need. There's a fresh face, a fresh point of view here in this game.
Cookenmaster has it slapped away. Western will keep the ball. Urgaides plays it in. Coonan getting a lot of playing time as a sophomore. Bright future for this Western program, as we've already mentioned. Urgaides trapped on the side, dribbled it out of bounds. Mount Pleasant's going to get the rock.
Mount Pleasant's really been more aggressive on defense this whole third quarter compared to the first half. We see a lot more trapping. We've seen a lot more steals.
Aggressive play by Kench nearly paid off with a steal. Borodachuk stays with it. Wrapped up. He'll go to the foul strike. 3 seconds remaining in this third quarter. 46-21 the score in favor of the Oilers.
I think that's one of the things that's hurt Western a lot this game is just the amount of fouls that they're committing, the amount of times that Mount Pleasant's getting to the line, and they're sinking their shots. So it's just building points and points and points on things that shouldn't have to be there.
Yeah, the overall shooting hasn't been great, but one thing you could say for Mount Pleasant is they've done really well from the charity stripe. Borodachuk, 2 for 2. Gives his coach a little bit of a point there. Don't know what he was telling him before he took that shot. Coonan lobbing up an optimistic attempt as the buzzer rings to sound the end of this third quarter. Only 8 minutes left in this basketball game, and right now it's all Mount Pleasant. They lead 48-21.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 300,000 participants here in Michigan who take part in high school sports.
Back at Mount Pleasant High School, Oilers leading by 27 over the Warriors of Bay City Western. This was kind of the stat line we expected for this one. Mount Pleasant has had a dominating streak against the Warriors. Haven't lost to them since 2012. That was way back on February 7th of that same year. 56-41 was the final score. It was played in Auburn, Michigan at Bay City Western's campus. That season, the Warriors were led by Mr. Basketball winner Matt Costello, who would go on to become a Michigan State Spartan. They made a run to the state semifinals that year. Since then, not as much success for the Warriors. One of the reasons why they have that 9-season losing streak against Mount Pleasant. But certainly fun to look back on that talented team that the Warriors possessed.
Now, I hate to call a game too early just at the start of the fourth, but it's looking here like Bay City Western might be adding their 7th loss.
We'll see if you jinxed it and maybe gave this Western team new life. Watuzik handed off for Barbie. Tried one. Brown scrambling to try to get to it, but it rolls out. Yeah, certainly a tough task to climb out of this hole that Western's dug for themselves. Crazier things have happened, though, Quinn.
This is true. Could be an exciting fourth quarter.
I certainly hope so, as your Guides tries one.
Ooh, I saw that bounce up. I nearly thought it was going to roll forward and in.
That one rolled forward away from Watuzik, who couldn't keep in.
No, we've seen that exact same thing happen a couple times throughout this game. Just moving too fast down the court, and the ball just slips out of your hands. You lose control, and it goes out of bounds.
Fed down low for Kench. Nice board by Klein. Up for Davis. Corey Davis. Drew the foul. He'll go to the line, shoot two.
Now this is looking almost like a pattern here throughout this whole game. Is just Mount Pleasant, transition drive down, Bay City Western foul Mount Pleasant at the line.
Certainly a winning recipe. If you can take advantage and make your free throws, Mount Pleasant's just going to keep taking it to the hoop, taking the punishment, and then ultimately taking the points.
You're just getting those free points, and it's really helping you build onto this lead.
Minute 5 into this one. Davis, 2 for 2 again. Oilers reach the 50-point mark. Still 7 to go in this one. From center court at Mount Pleasant High School here on the GI Tech broadcast program on MHSAA.tv. Calvin Keys, Quinn Couturier, happy to have you alongside us. It's been a game that's been a little bit lackluster in terms of excitement, but Oilers taking care of business here. Unable to take care of business with that shot was Joseph DeCuff. Klein for Barbie. Davis has a gap, lays it in, and what could be potentially the third three-point play of this ball game for the Oilers.
I really like what I saw there with Corey. He caught the ball, he kind of hesitated a little bit, and then he drove right in, confusing the defender and giving him that open lane to drive right in.
Little stutter step there. And it looks like we're going to have the junior for Mount Pleasant coming in, Griffin Phillips, for the first time tonight. Oh, three-point play just escaped him, but Watuzik finds it. Comes off the foot of Western. Oilers will have it. Looks like Patrick Wilcox got caught in the facial region. Hopefully he's okay. Kind of squinting that one off. Checking into this one for Western is Landon Yates, the junior. Watuzik will play this one in. Looking for options. Held on to it too long.
Now this was one of the things that Coach Shell said coming into this game, was that one of the areas that Mount Pleasant struggles with is their inbounding under pressure. They struggle with the turnovers, and just when put under pressure, it can be hard for them to keep control of the ball.
Frost. Watuzik laying out for it. Frost kept the handle. Timeout called. Don't really need a chance to catch our breath, but we'll still step aside and be back after this break.
All right, this is Adam. Take 2. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
Back at Mount Pleasant High School. Mount Pleasant Oilers up 52-21 over the Bay City Western Warriors. already mentioned it a couple times tonight, but still ingrained in my memory is that cold, muddy, rainy night in Auburn, Michigan when Western and Mount Pleasant played each other. The winner, of course, was going to take that conference championship. It was a really good game, a game played almost predominantly on the ground because the conditions were so bad in terms of especially wind but also rain that any ball thrown up in the air would blow off into oblivion. So it was certainly an interesting contest, but Oilers won that game, able to spoil the Western's undefeated season, and they were able to claim an undefeated campaign of their own. Certainly fun to look back on, although I was freezing my butt off in the stands, Quentin.
You know, it's games like that where they can be really exciting. You're on the edge of the seat. It's they're playing for high stakes. You know, who's going to go undefeated this season, who's not. But man, on the wrong type of night, if you're not wearing a warm enough coat or you don't have your rain gloves on,
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Kason Frost able to sink a basket. He's had some troubles tonight. Sophomore guard. Another guy that's part of this up-and-coming program at Bay City Western, but been a little bit snake-bit. Hasn't seen the ball go through the hoop very much, as that's a really good rebound by Cookenmaster. He got knocked off balance. I got to say, that's a phenomenal last name. Cookenmaster.
It's a fun one to say, Cookenmaster.
Wonder what his nickname is in his friend group.
I wonder what he's thinking in the future. He might looking to want to be a chef, you know?
Yeah, we can.
Chef Cookenmaster.
Hey, maybe he takes culinary arts classes at Bay City Western. You never know.
You never know. Now, speaking of Bay City Western that we've been talking about all night, this is a young team. This is a developing team. And so I wonder what the team's going to look like next year. You know, if all this playing time that these younger players are getting are going to help to contribute to.
Yeah, I mean, they'll have 4 returning starters next year. Bacigalupo, who's not currently on the court, is the only starter who's a senior. The other 4, 2 sophomores and 2 juniors. Converting from the line is Zach Cookenmaster. I'm a little bit of a Cookenmaster myself. I make a mean peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Quentin.
I don't really know if that's cooking. I have to ask him, do you keep saying that name because he keeps popping up, or do you keep saying that name because you just want to?
Oh, you got me. I just enjoy saying Cookenmaster. It's fun to say, man.
I
can't blame me.
I can't knock you. There's a lot of fun names on this Bay City Western team. Oilers at the line again.
Watuzik. I'll be interested at the end of this game to see how many free throws were shot by this Oiler group.
I'll have to go take a look at the stat sheet and figure that out.
You get the feeling some of these Western guys are going to be fouled out pretty soon here, right? As Barbie banks it off the glass and through the net.
What would be really exciting to me is not to see how many necessarily free throws attempted Mount Pleasant has, but the amount of free throws made, the efficiency that we have, because I've only seen us miss a couple.
Klein stripped it. Feeds to Griffin Phillips. Back for Klein. Evades the press of Kason Frost. Watuzik took a few too many steps. Talked about how his older brother Mason had a great career as an Oiler. That 2020 team for Mount Pleasant was absolutely phenomenal. I was actually talking to one of the members of that team, Cooper Phillips, pre-game. His junior year, the Oilers had a phenomenal group. He said himself he didn't get a ton of playing time just because of the pure skill of the guys playing ahead of him. The likes of Tyler Huneman now playing collegiate football at Harvard. Got Mason Watuzik playing collegiate basketball at Adrian. Joe Ostrowski playing collegiate basketball at Central Connecticut State. And then his older brother, Jackson Ostrowski, who's also a Division II college football quarterback at Central Connecticut State. So ton of phenomenal athletes on that group. And they were just really robbed of that chance to make that run for a state championship because of COVID, unfortunately. Uncontrollable circumstances, but man, I just remember watching that team play, and they were a joy to watch.
Having such a strong team, such a good team with these seniors and these upperclassmen right ahead of you can really help you to develop those younger players and can really prove them and move them up the ladder. But like you said, COVID ruining that season, it ripped away that opportunity for these younger players to develop and practice and grow on their own right after that, coming out of this experience.
Gage Coonan drained a three-pointer while we were speaking about that 2020 Oiler basketball team. Watuzik pulled up and got stiffed by Demetrius Brandon Bunk as Deontay Brown getting the rebound. And a nice little finish from the big guy.
Now, what do you think these coaches are going to be telling their team after watching the film from this game?
I think Coach Shell, honestly, there's lots of things Mount Pleasant can improve on, but I think the thing he'll be happiest with is the fact that they were able to improve and come out and put on a better performance in the second half.
The way that they were able to flip their whole attitude towards the game, honestly.
For Western, we've seen it time and time again. Giving up too many fouls, nearly gave up another one there, but Watuzik able to convert under the hoop.
I think more so than the amount of fouls that they've given, well, that has been a lot, was just the amount of second chance points that Mount Pleasant's had, the amount of rebounds off their own shots that they've had.
Cookin Master passed up the look. Hands off for Coonan. He's coming off the bench tonight and hasn't really looked back. Tried to get it to Branham Buck. Picked off by Watuzik. Pushing it back up with 3.5 to go. Spinning around. Out for Phillips. Didn't like the shot. Walking the baseline. Feeds to Nar. He'll pull from 3. Missed it. Brown moving around.
And I sound like a broken record here saying this, but there's Mount Pleasant again with their own rebound. Makes me wonder why that cardboard cutout saying block out is even there.
I think there's a reason it's there. It's because they need to be told that as much as possible.
We need to get a little megaphone attached to a little speaker running through so they just keep hearing it during the game.
Deontay Brown, this is a guy that just came off the bench recently, hasn't played hardly at all tonight.
We haven't seen much of him, but
he's put on a nice performance. That shot down there, that's a tough one to make, Quentin. And
yeah, we haven't seen much of him prior to this, but
I think Gage Coonan, also the sophomore guard, number 4 for the Warriors, he's been one of the bright spots. I really think the composure he has as a young guy and some of these shots he's been able to make, and otherwise pretty poor performance by his team, it's remarkable, and I think that's somebody that Coach Walker's going to rely on in the years to come here at Bay City Western.
Exactly, and that really just shows the promise and the hope that this team has. Giving all these younger guys this playing time just to develop them, build them up. Hopefully that in a year or 2 years, your team's going to be that much better for it.
Watuzik lofting for Nar, handed back out to Klein. Phillips from the corner. Bangs off the rim. Watuzik from way downtown. Put that one up from the cheap seats, Quentin.
Yeah. Let me tell you what, Calvin, that cardboard cutout is just staring me in the face. Block out, block out, block out. That's all I can think every time I see these possessions.
To be fair, maybe the issue is that it's at Mount Pleasant side of the court because they've done a better job of blocking out on defense in this half. Maybe they need to move it down.
That's true. They moved the cardboard cutout, yeah.
See it better. Coonan tries one.
I don't know. Is that even allowed? Are you allowed to have your team's cardboard cutout on the other team's bench? I don't. Are there rules regarding cardboard cutouts in this?
Schultz missed it. I don't know. Maybe the Mount Pleasant bench should be a little bit worried that Coach Bob would be spying on him during their timeouts. Really good play by DeCuff to telegraph that to cut it off.
Going over the shoulder, checking the old playbook.
2:03 to go. This one has quickly turned into a rout. Kench got to it. Brown somehow kept it in, but turned it over to Cam Schultz. Number 15, showing off the wheels. Missed that layup. Watuzik got it. Falling awkwardly is Brandon Buck.
Well, he's up and walking around, and he appears to be okay, so that's always good to see.
Absolutely. I will say the one thing that upset me is we had a 3-on-1, and one of the guys on that 3-on-1 for Mount Pleasant was Deontay Brown, and if you've ever been to one of the Oilers practices, you know he loves to throw down, so that would have given us at least some sort of theatrics in what's been otherwise a little bit of a snoozer.
Yeah.
This has quickly turned into a rout. Western able to hang with the Oilers for the first half. But now the lead extended all the way out to 36.
There really does just feel to be like a lack of energy and a lack of excitement at this game tonight. And I wonder if part of that is due to the fact that Mount Pleasant at least has been all virtual online the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, certainly great to be able to come out here and take in this basketball game after being stuck at home for most of the day. Really good for these athletes that they're still able to compete as well. I think another reason why there's not a lot of energy in here, when you are disciplined defensively and you take care of business, maybe not the flashiest game or not the best game on offense for the Oilers, but they've stuck to their guns. They've stuck to their identity here in this second half after probably getting a wake-up call from Shell at the halftime break and really just taking all the life out of this Western team. Schultz and picking that one up. Poor ball care. Trying one from deep.
And the scoreboard really reflects that. I mean, defense, it's not entertaining. It's not flashy. You know, it's not something that's fun to watch.
Klein for Phillips. Drained it.
You play good enough defense, it gives you a boost on your offense to make plays like that.
Really good to see Griffin Phillips make a big shot there. Coonan, he's got one of his own. Silences the home crowd. Nar up for Watuzik. For Brown. Deontay Brown. Yet another basket for the big fella. Minute to go here. Coonan being defended by Phillips. Gives to DeCuff. Joseph DeCuff working in. Kicks back out for Schultz. Handed off for Brandon Buck. 45 to shoot. DeCuff. Low bounce pass to Kench. Held it in, but handed it right to Phillips. Watuzik's going to take his time here. 30 to go.
If you're Mount Pleasant here, just dribble the clock out. No reason to try and force a play.
Clock ticking down here. 15 to go, and likely the Oilers are just going to let this one run out in what was a fairly dominant performance. A slow start for Mount Pleasant. Got better as the game has worn on, and hopefully they're able to use this as a building block moving forward in their schedule. 4 seconds left. And this one will just be ended early as Watuzik was just going to dribble out the clock anyway. Your final in this one, 69 to 48 in favor of Mount Pleasant. The Oilers will improve their record on the year, and the Warriors will fall to 3-8. As they go through the handshake line, we'd like to thank you for tuning in here tonight. GI Tech School Broadcast Program presented this live showing of high school boys hoops, Mount Pleasant versus Bay City Western. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.